Hello, my name's Ron Dodd and this is another video about Hornby Dublo service. Today I'd like to discuss loco wheels. Okay, first of all, the bogie wheels or coach wheels, just the same or similar. These are the metal ones, the iron ones, and they're usually not much problem, apart from sometimes they can come loose and you can lose the back-to-back distance in between the two flanges. So what I use as a gauge is a plastic one. They're one piece, so they can't change, and you can simply just eyeball them up to make sure that the gauge is right. So if they do come loose, you can push them back into shape, and then use a little bit of super glue and just let it soak in, and it'll do the job. Of course, you don't need to remove them to do that. Sometimes you'll come across this a little bit of the metal fatigue, and obviously you can't do anything with that, it's gone. But this one does have if we look close there, this one does have a small crack in there, and you can do the same with that to try and arrest the crack and stop moisture getting in, which will make it worse. A little bit of super glue on the crack, I'm sure it helps it, and you can continue using it. Okay, now for the locos themselves. Okay, here we have a chassis with the wheels and the conrods. The pins sometimes do work loose, the little conrod pins here, and so what I do is simply again dab of super glue on there, being sure you don't glue the actual conrod, just glue the pin back in. And if you do need to remove this, it's not very often you need to remove these, but if you do need to remove them, sometimes I've been reliably informed they're pinned over on the back side. So if you try to remove them and they don't come, then just leave them, don't force them too much. But how I do remove them, if I have to, is I put a screwdriver underneath each side right there, and then lever up this way, so you're not putting any stress on the axle, or else you might bend that. Yeah, there's not really, as I say, much need to remove these. Okay. Next, wheels. Some of these wheels is sometimes they come loose like this, and they wobble, of course, because they're very loose. So what I do in this instance is, because there's a little flange on the underside, if you try and glue them, you see you can get that wobble in and you'll have a buckled wheel. So what I have here is a little plastic spacer that I just put underneath the wheel, and then of course you don't need to take the wheel out to do this either, you do it in situ. And if you hold it tight so it pinches the spacer, then the wheel is going to be flat against the chassis. And make sure the axle is also pressed home. Then you can again get some super glue on the end of a screwdriver or something, and then just a small dab on there. Don't put too much or else it might work through to the axle. Then hold it for a minute or two, and that should do to keep it nice and true. Okay, now removing loco wheels. This one I've taken the com rods out. Well, I bought the chassis like this with the com rod already out. I'm going to repair it later, but I leave the com rods in. But if you're going to take the wheels off, it's important to remember that they have to go back in exactly the same position for what they call quartering. So in order to help me do this, I put some tape on both sides, and then I mark the wheel to line up with the mark on the tape, and this side the same. So then when I remove it, of course with the com rods in still, you don't need to remove them. You can always put them back exactly in the same position. As the shaft is splined, it's probably, I don't know, 12 splines or something like that, so you should get it back on that mark, because the 1/12 of a turn is going to be quite a way out on your mark. To actually remove the wheels, I use a little undo the gear first, of course, slacken the grub screws up. Then I use a small punch through a little bit at a time, working my way along until they all come loose. Putting it back together, I have a little tool I use here. It's a tool maker's clamp. It is a fiddly job and it's very difficult to do, but it can be used to try and keep the wheel straight and square as you're putting it back on. You can gradually squeeze them back into position. It's something you might want to practice. If you want to try it, practice on an old chassis first, maybe, because it is rather tricky to get it with getting the wheels back on straight. Okay, bushing. Sometimes here's a chassis. I don't know if you can really see, but I've rebushed all these because the axles. This is a horseshoe one. The axles really wear sometimes, and you get a problem with you can see this is now no lift, no play in that. Okay, so what I use is a piece of brass tube that you can buy. This is 5/32 outside diameter and 1/14 thou the wall thickness. So that means it's 1/8 of an inch. The hole at the outside is 5/32, and it's a good fit for the axle to go in there. A little bit of clearance, but it's just about right. And then I have a simple little gauge I made here, just a block of wood with a 5/32 hole in and a screw as a stop. I can put that through there and then just use a little saw that will cut off, and it will give me the length I require without having to mess about too much. Okay, so I have a chassis here that's a little bit worn. I'm going to use this wheel. No, oops. Okay, we won't do it with that. We'll use this to demonstrate it. Right, you can see there it's fairly loose, this one. It's not really too bad, but it's the worst one I could find. spare chassis I can find. I don't want to mess mine up too much at the moment. So this is the one that usually wears more than the others. The other ones are fine on this chassis, so they don't need doing. I'm just going to do this one this one hole. Now the idea is to drill the hole of the right size, and I've got a bushing I've already cut off there, and I'm going to put that in there. So first we've got to drill it. So I've made a little somewhere, here it is. I've made got a little block. Now you can do this freehand or you can make a block, depends how confident you are in doing this, but the block's got a 5/32 hole in, and I can just put this in like so with the little sleeve on there as well. Slip the sleeve into the wood a little bit like that, so that's all lined up now. Yeah, all lined up nice and straight. Okay, let's move over to the vise now. Okay, now I can just put this into the vise like so, and then take the grill and the bush out. And this is the 5/32 grill. I only want to go through the first hole. Okay, I didn't have that too tight in the vise, but that should be okay. Okay, back over to here. So there we are, that's drilled out nicely. Now I can just leave I like to use the drill bit to 1/8 drill bit, just to line up the bushing when I'm putting it in. So I just press it like that, so it's just started, and you can get a little I'll do it right now. Get a little dab of super glue on there, push that down, and then that's it. Finish. Wipe off. Oops. Paper's all stuck to it now. Okay, now let's try well, we'll just use this and you'll be able to see. Now you can see nearly all the end play is gone. It's a neat job, easy to do. All of this is available in the spares. We have the Hornby Railway Collectors Association spares directory here. It's well worth joining the club just to get this and the magazines. All the services and all the spare parts are available in there. If you want to have a go yourself, then this is how to do it. Thank you very much.